Let's be honest, no one has ever taught you how to write an academic CV, right? I know because I've been reading y'all's CVs, okay? Look at this. Ah! They need a little bit of fixing, okay? So today I'm going to show you my CV that I used to get into Oxford. The one thing you can do to transform your CV today, I'll show you some before and afters as well. And I will also put a link for you to get my CV template, or maybe a few CV templates. I don't know. Okay, let's start with my Oxford CV. Here it is. So I just had my name there, and this is kind of an intro, just 2 lines, and I say I'm an MSc Cancer student at University College London who is passionate about translational cancer research in order to have a profound effect on patients' lives through improved therapy. So I already tell them what my research interests are. One is translational cancer research, and how? Mainly through improved therapy. That's like the broad thing, and then I actually go in my next line and I make it a little bit clearer, which is my research interests mainly lie in epigenetics, finding and testing new drug targets in vitro and in vivo, and overcoming preventing drug resistance through combinatorial therapy. So all the different interests that I have, I put them there so that when I'm applying to different projects, they can see, okay, this is kind of where her interest lies. So do that. Then I always put my education first. Okay, so at the time I was doing my MSc in cancer, so I put it like this, and then I told them that I did a BSc. I always write a little statement underneath to make it read well. I graduated with a first class honors from Queen Mary with an overall degree mark of 80, and then I also put total first year and second year average to show that I've been consistent. Now, if you've gotten particularly good marks in some modules, you should put that here as well. They can see academic excellence. A levels I also chose to mention because it's part of my story of hard work and persistence. So my school's administration initially resisted my admission into A levels as I came from a non-GCSE background. 2 years later, I was able to obtain not only 3 A stars in biology, chemistry, and physics, but also 5 distinctions. See below. So, it's okay to write sentences like this in a CV that makes it sound like a personal statement. Then I have a section on awards and scholarships. You want to put the name of the scholarship and then also when you got it, how much it was worth. Instead of bullet points, I still like putting sentences. So I also told them that the UCL MSc Cancer Scholarship is only given to one international student on the MSc Cancer course. So again, it gives them a little bit more context and it makes your CV even stronger. And this kind of stuff I see missing in a lot of CVs, and I don't know why. I think people shy away from putting actual sentences. I also put the Queen Mary Science and Engineering Excellence Scholarships. Again, I want to tell them, okay, what is it? Who is it for? What do you get? And I said, subject to obtaining an average of 70% or above in end of year exams, and I was able to maintain it for all 3 years. Okay, this is where most people get it wrong, which is that I see research experience always just either as bullet points, nothing about the project, nothing about what you did, nothing about what you learned, what you contributed, and it makes it so dry. Always start with telling them what you were actually doing. A lot of people just start giving techniques that, oh, I optimized Western blots and cell survival, but they never say, like, for what? What were you even looking at? Okay, they want to know the topic. Start with the topic, okay? Or also give them more context about, when you did this, and was this your thesis project, your dissertation? What was it? I explored the role of c-Met in chemo-resistant ovarian cancer. I learned to use, troubleshoot, and optimize various techniques. I really like the wording on this because I don't just say use. I used and I troubleshooted or troubleshot, I don't know, and optimized, okay, various techniques. I was able to steer my project independently, critically analyze our hypothesis, and suggest designs of additional experiments. So again, it reads a little bit like a personal statement. Some things might be repetitive, but do you know now Oxford has a 500-word limit on the personal statement. So you have to put more things in your CV like this, okay? This part is telling them what I did and what I contributed, and that I took initiative and I took responsibility for my own project. A lot of times I see people just explaining techniques or what they did, and it makes them sound more like an assistant rather than their project. I also told them what the outcome was. I presented and defended my findings at a viva in front of various group leaders from the Bart's Cancer Institute and was awarded a mark of 90% for this undergraduate project. Again, sell yourself. Tell them if you got high marks in something. Got it? Also, you want to tell them when you did it and how long it was. So this gives them an idea of, okay, it was like a 3-month project. Then again, context. I was one of the 21 students selected to conduct research at the University of Cambridge as part of the highly competitive Amgen Scholars Program. I'm telling them it's super competitive. Only 21 students get selected each year, where it was, and how, like the context of the project. Get it? Staining proved quite challenging. While testing multiple IF conditions, I also suggested to use flow cytometry. I thus learned to be in charge of my own learning in the lab. Another thing I do is I added my professional skills, and I also wrote that line, So apart from research experience, I've also taken the time to develop particular skills that will prove invaluable in an academic career. One thing was presentation skills. I gave an oral presentation on my ovarian cancer project at the British Conference of Undergraduate Research, an international multidisciplinary conference in April 2017, and I swear to God, I have no memory of this conference. I received praise during the Q&A session for communicating my findings in an understandable way for those from non-scientific backgrounds, upon which the audience clapped in acknowledgement. Now I remember where it was. Okay, gosh. Now I remember I had a video where I actually twirled to move from one side of the screen to the other, and people were laughing. That was funny. I was also accepted to present a poster on the PISA-1 project at Cambridge, being the only undergraduate presenting. You know why I was the only undergraduate presenting? Because I was the only one like brave enough to give it a shot and actually apply. I didn't really even have any data to present, and I asked the PhD student. He was like, it's a bit too small of a project to apply to this, but I applied and they accepted it. So take your shots, guys. Take your shots. Then leadership and innovation. I was a mentor and I discussed my idea of theme pass sessions with the team leaders. I was met with hesitation, but I convinced them to allow me to trial the idea. I organized it myself. I sent the emails. I booked the rooms. It was really cool. We had the best turnout ever. And then I got this Mentor of the Year award. And then I became the leader for this scheme the next year. Best time ever. So again, guys, do things, okay? If you want to do something, just do it, okay? And through this, I learned to better manage my time, be more creative and trialing new ideas, take steps to overcome challenges. Get it? So all of these things are very important for the PhD. Managing your time, trialing new things, overcoming challenges, and also improved on my public speaking skills, which again, you'll be giving conference presentations, okay? And then publications, if you have any. I had literally no publication when I applied to Oxford, but they don't care. And I was writing a review manuscript. I don't know where it got lost in the ether. This never got published, but Another thing I would add your referees. Now I want to show you a before and after, okay? This is what you can do today to actually transform your CV. This is what I see in most CVs. All they do is, for example, professional experience, okay? United Nations Development Program advisor in Iran. It doesn't tell me anything on like, what was the topic? What were you doing? More about the research, how you contributed, what you learned, what you used, like the methodology. It doesn't really show them anything, right? Professional project. You see how it's very like, it's so brief. It doesn't tell them anything. Develop strategies for sustainable low carbon steel. But what kind of strategies? What were you using? What were you doing? It doesn't sell her enough. Reduce total operation cost by 80%. But you see, I don't like the bullet points. I don't like the language. I don't like how there's just not enough detail. Like when I read this, I actually don't know what she did. Like, what did you do really? Like, you have to go into a little bit more detail. Tell them about the topic, about the hypothesis, what you were testing, what you wanted to find out, what you actually discovered, or, like frame it as a research project. It's research, okay? Then when I gave her the feedback, this is how she actually put it for her research experience now. I examined whether Iran's energy transitions could be mutually beneficial by improving national energy security and reducing climate risk. So you see how now it tells you what the project is. Even as a non-expert, you look at it and you instantly know what she does. Then, to answer this, I identified major drivers shaping the country's future, such as the intensity of climate impact. I mean, that is beautiful. It tells them everything that she wanted to do and what she actually contributed, okay? A lot of people don't use the word I in their CV and personal statements, but guess what? You have to, because you did it. If you say we, they're gonna think someone else did it with you, but you did it, so say I, okay? Sometimes people write in a passive thing, you know, that national energy scenarios were considered, but no, who considered them? You did it. Use I, okay? Look at this now. This was beautiful. Chef's kiss. I gained hands-on experience in scenario planning using tools like uncertainty mapping and cross-impact analysis. The findings are detailed in a peer-reviewed article currently under review. The methodology, what she learned, and what the outcome was, which is that it's a peer-review article under review. Beautiful? Beautiful. Implementing floating solar panels in Iran, okay, with the United Nations Development Program to address the challenge. Oh, she tells us about the challenge in the context. To address the challenge of electricity imbalance in Iran while supporting water conservation and climate mitigation efforts, I collaborated with a team in UNDP to conduct a feasibility study using this for a 100 megawatt floating solar project. I conducted emission reduction estimation, analysis of technical, environmental, socioeconomic effects, and local job creation, and I participated in developing and securing a 31.5 million funding proposal. So again, how beautiful is that? You understand what I mean? Now, she has a lot of research experience, which a lot of people don't before they apply to a PhD, so don't get overwhelmed looking at this CV. But you see how beautiful it makes it. So this is the one thing I suggest that you do today, and that's really going to transform your CV, okay? Here's another one I edited. This student wrote, he didn't have a lot of research experience because he was just starting out and he's an undergrad. This is what I've done in the initial stages: attend lab meetings and shadowed ongoing autism research project. No, he actually did a lot more than that, okay? The skills in the coding education, again, just bullet points, and it's underplaying and underselling so much what he did. Background, basic information. No, like, tell them what you learned in this introduction to genomic data science. That's a cool course. Tell them what you learned. Okay, so now look at the difference, okay? The research and lab experience. Conducted research on social stigmas, issues and misconceptions, blah, blah, blah. Like, already it looks like he has so much more experience, right? As part of the lab work, I conducted extractions of pure compounds, blah, blah, blah. I did this. I performed several experiments. Then now look at how he's putting his courses and certificates. Let me remind you of the before. Look at this, diabolical. And now look at this. It actually looks like something substantial. So introduction to genomic data science, developed a solid foundation in cell and molecular biology, PCR, and genomic data science history, gained understanding of the core statistical principles and applications of sequencing. That's how you do it. Before he just said background and basic information. What the heck? You want to be rejected? It's like you want to be rejected. Sorry, no offense. Sorry, I have to feel passionately about this so I can help you guys. Then Python for genomic data science. Now he's gained core skills in Python, hands-on experience with FASTA. Okay, look at this. Scholarships and awards now. So let me show you the before. That was the before! Look at this! Ah! Stop. Here, calm down, calm down. Giving me panic attacks. These CVs. Okay, now look at this. The Rutherford Scholarship, awarded by the government of Alberta to students graduating high school with honors with distinction, so average of 80% or higher in 5 core academic subjects. My score, 94%. There you go. It tells them what he did and what it was for. So you get what I mean, right? I need to breathe. And also, I actually wanted to show you my CV for the job that I applied to right after my PhD and how it was a little bit different, but it still worked. And I made that on Canva. It was a free Canva template. kind of pretty here, right? Always tailor your CV to the job, okay? So now look at the difference. This was a position for DNA methylation biomarkers, okay? And I'm passionate about a career utilizing bioinformatics tools in translational research, etc. And then you always put your relevant research experience here. So one was obviously my PhD project, which was on DNA methylation, and I used linear models and statistics and machine learning. So I told them like the software I used as well. I also had my little education background here. I also put some technical skills here. I also put some soft skills there, you know, so it was kind of cool. Then I also added further research experience over here, referees, some presentations, some awards and stuff. So everything all fit in here as well. It just makes it a little bit prettier, but even our little simple CV can work as well. So now you know everything about CVs. Go and edit it, or you can send it to me and I can review it. And yeah, have fun. Bye.